Okay, call this work session to order. We're going to open it up with visitor comments. No visitor comments. Casey, let's have you come on. Go ahead and come on up. We'll talk a little bit about that. So, we found out that we were awarded a community block grant for the food bank building and to do the restoration and put all the improvements in the building itself for the food bank. And congratulations.
Well, thank you, but most of the kudos goes to one of your employees.
Yes, it does.
Jenny did yeoman's work on this. I provided her with information from our side, but a lot of the technical writing and all of that had to go into it was all Jenny. In fact, she and I have a conference call with Business Oregon at 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's a follow-up discussion on the contract on that. We're really excited about it. As I think all of you are aware, the biggest challenge we've had over time has been capacity. We could do more, but we can't do what we'd like to do with the current facility we have. With the new facility, once the renovations are complete, we're going to be able to do a lot more things. We'll be able to involve more people and groups from the community. We're constantly asked about groups that want to come in and do repack. We can't do that in the facility that we currently have. We'll be able to do that in the new building once we have that renovated. And so we're really looking forward to it. We're greatly appreciative of the partnership with the city on this and the support of the city. I can't say enough good things about working with the city on this. It's been fantastic. I'll be your one-person PR committee forever.
I don't think the rest of the room heard what the amount of the grant was.
Oh, okay. The amount of the grant is $1.5 million.
Yep.
We went for the max and we got it. We're going to raise some additional money for that because it's going to take, like any project, it's always going to take some extra, and there's some things we want to do that the grant specifically does not cover. And so we'll be doing some fundraising, and I'm writing grants, additional grants right now to help cover those costs. But everything that we have in the proposal that we gave to Business Oregon will be able to get done with the 1.5 mil.
Great. So this is for the new facility.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was really clear.
Oh yeah, this is for the new facility. We're not looking to do any improvements to where we are.
So for people who are just watching and are unaware of where the building is, so it's the old Columbia Feed Store, and I don't know if you can keep part of that name. I tell people it's still going to be a feed store.
Yeah, well, that's one of my board members. You know, it was a feed and seed, and as one of my board members said, it'll still be a feed and seed. It'll just be two-legged animals instead of four-legged.
Yes,
True.
If you don't count the chickens.
We're excited about the economic development it gives for the Holton area, the uptown area, and a big shot in the arm to be centrally located and visible.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yes.
And I'm just happy to be able to help improve your facilities and feed people.
Thank you.
it's a very, very big building too. If you haven't been inside, it's got like the store and then the side shop and a shop behind it and a shop behind it. So
it's 12,500 square feet. We'll be moving from 2,500 square feet.
wow.
So, like I said, we'll be able to do a lot of things that we haven't been able to do.
Yeah.
You won't be out in the rain anymore.
No more standing out in the rain.
That'd be good.
I know there was some question about will there be a kitchen in there for?
Yeah, our plan is to have a kitchen in there for cooking classes. Also to do samples, combining things and recipes, and having samples for clients to taste of what they can make with the food that they get.
Good.
Because part of the challenge that we have right now is that some of the folks we have, they just don't know what to do with it. We have a partnership with OSU, and they do cooking classes, but this way we can do them more frequently and actually do them on site while the clients are already there. That's not something separate that they have to travel to.
You need a recipe book.
Yep. Oh, I have a couple.
Good.
Right on. It's a good deal for our community, good for the food bank. And I want to also congratulate you on you're basically mayor-elect of Columbia City as well.
Well, unless there's a massive writing.
Yeah. So,
I'm not counting anything until after the
yep,
results
you
are
just
in.
never know.
Yep.
Another partnership. All
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So we're just, and related, just another example of how lucky we are to have gotten Jenny
Yep.
Tim Show
Yes.
through was it Rare Volunteers?
Yes.
Mhm.
That she came to us on a Rare program, and the city was able to keep her, and she has just been a champion for this community
Yep.
over and over again.
Yep.
And we just have such good team members
Yes,
here at
yep.
the city. I just
She's-
appreciate all their hard work.
She's a huge plus for the city.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. Any
Just a procedural note that it's not official until the contracts
Contracts
are
are
signed, but we have received notice of award, so they're somewhere in between the ink drying and
Yep.
Yep.
having getting notice.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for showing up. Okay, we got employee length of service awards, and first I see we have Stuart Hartley. I don't know if
Stuart's not here.
Stuart's not here, but he has 10 years with the city of St. Helens. Congratulations, Stuart. The other one happens to be here. She works here in the office. Lisa Scholl has 15 years continuous service for the city of St. Helens.
I didn't know you could work when you're that young.
So Lisa has been a huge help around here. She helps Kathy with a lot of her work and fills in when Kathy's gone, and we appreciate it.
Lisa's another one of our great resources here.
Yep.
And she bought the Halloween candy.
She's very, very helpful. She's
Well,
very
Lisa,
insightful.
Lisa has a can-do attitude and always with a big smile.
Yes.
That's very customer friendly and our city very nice.
That's what I like. You go to her, and even if she doesn't know, she'll find out. She'll be like, "Oh, well, just give me a little bit." So, all right. So we're already on to department reports. Chief Greenway.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple things just to report out of from the police department. A reminder that tomorrow is our first Thursday community meeting at the St. Helens Public Library. It begins at 7 p.m. and our topic will be Halloween safety. It'll go from 7 to 8 p.m. and we're inviting all the community members out to come and learn about Halloween safety and ask questions to your local officers. In addition to that, on Friday we have a new officer graduating from the Department of Public Safety and Standards and Training, the Police Academy down in Salem. Elijah Merkwan will be graduating Friday and coming on board with us and starting his field training program next week. And we also have a new community service officer that will be starting on October 16th with the St. Helens Police Department and replacing Adam Hartless, who graduated on to become a police officer. And then finally, and I'll announce this as we get closer to Halloween, but we're having this year's annual Trunk or Treat event at the St. Helens Police Department on Halloween Day, actually October 31st. And it begins at 5 p.m. and goes to 8 p.m. And last year we had 11 participants, and we're hoping to double that this year. And it's an event being held at the police department where the children of the community and family members can come and have a safe and event, meet their officers, and get some good candy. And so we have some old cars we're looking to line up to come out there for display and just be assisting the community on Halloween. So that's all we have to report today, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Sue?
I guess just so that you're aware that the next council meeting in October, neither myself nor Neil will be here. We will be attending the American Public Works Conference in Southern Oregon. So that's all I can think of.
Okay.
Little
Neil.
Sue,
Yo.
can I ask a little update on the Great Cliffs waterfront restroom down there? Any kinds of,
We are waiting for the electrical service to be finalized.
okay, thanks.
Yep, it's all been authorized and
Good.
PUD is got it on their schedule. I'm not sure if the electricians finished with their work, so we're just waiting for PUD to come and energize that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Neil?
The only thing I have is I got a call from our tree farm manager yesterday, and they're gonna begin the logging operation out there next week.
Cool.
And that's all I have.
All right. Margaret?
There are a few things on the horizon at the library. Last night, we had our speaker about trekking and teaching in the Himalayas, and we had a very nice crowd. About 33 people came, and that was very interesting. And Tuesday of next week, we're going to also have another presentation. It is backed up by an exhibit as well, and the exhibit has been traveling around the state for over a year now. It's called The Architecture of Internment, the Build-Up to Wartime Incarceration, and it examines how Oregonians participated in the decision to incarcerate Japanese Americans and Japanese immigrants during World War II. It's a 13-panel display, and it's currently at the Clatskanie Cultural Center. It'll be at the St. Helens Public Library next week. The following week, it'll be at Scappoose High School, and the week following that, it will be at Vernonia High School. The presentation is next Tuesday night, October 9th at 7 o'clock, and it includes presenters from the Oregon Nikkei Legacy Center, an immigration lawyer, and a local published poet that are going to serve as a panel. On October 13th, we're having Indie Author Day, and that'll be a Saturday from 10 until 2 in the auditorium. And this will be a merged activity with the St. Helens Writers Guild. And it will have some activities that will help kind of prepare people who are thinking about participating in National Novel Writing Month. And on that same day, from 9 until 2, the Garden Club is going to have their fall plant sale on the library porch. So if you need to get stocked up on garden plants, not vegetable garden, but flower garden type plants, drop by. I believe that's it.
All right. Matt?
Just a couple things to, if you get a chance to drive by the old Fara building, you can see that we're starting to paint that. The roof is going to be starting to be replaced in the next few weeks. There's some work that we have to do on the air conditioning units that we found. One of them has been basically decommissioned by the servicer, saying that it's a fire hazard. So we're looking into some replacements for that. That'll come back to with you, but that was already put into my budget on paper. So we already knew some of those jobs needed to be done. On the inside, we've been working with Bill Amos on some restroom renovations as well, and hoping also to open up the gym in the back to get some seating in there for parents and everything to watch their kids play. So we're starting to work on that. And then I'm not sure if you've heard, but Jenny and Shauna worked on a grant from Colpack Health. The city is going to receive, we just received a notification last week that the rec program received $20,000 to continue its build and program, as well as we're working on with Colpack Health on an additional $15,000 that will be strictly for renovations of the Fara building. So good things are coming. I think that's all I got.
Good work on that rec program.
There's a metal facade on the Fair building from the roof down. I think it comes down like 5 or 6 feet. Is that going to be replaced with the roof, or what's?
Right now, what we're looking at is just repainting it with kind of a different trim color than the green that you see on there, so it'll be an accent color.
Right.
And eventually we'll have to think of some kind of a name or something to put in place of where you see Fara now.
And the second question is that air conditioning going to be a heat pump, or will it remain air conditioning?
We're not 100% sure yet. We're looking at a few options and getting quotes right now for either replacing the unit itself, or Roger has suggested using some window type heating and AC units as well. So we've got those quoted out, and we're waiting for a quote for the units on top to see what the best route is.
Thanks for the follow-up.
Yep.
Nothing, Kathy? Okay. John?
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks Casey Wheeler for coming from the food bank to talk about the project today. That's that grant is going to do good things for the community. I was part of a similar project years ago where we took a food pantry and we made it into like basically a shopping with dignity was the title of it, where you just don't get your box. You come in, you keep on, you go shopping for food, and it was really well received by the community, and all the philanthropy in the community kind of bonded around that. So I look forward to the good things happen on Columbia Boulevard there. Kind of the social pieces of that. So,
Yep.
League of Oregon City Conference last week was really a great year. Last year, this year, there's new leadership at the League of Oregon Cities. We have a new executive director, which is kind of just restarted this thing, and it feels like there's a fresh newness about it. And the conference really reflected that. We didn't take any home awards this year. Last time we were in Eugene, we got a Good Governance Award from the league for our work on the waterfront, which is a pretty big deal. We were nominated though for our rec program, so we got some shout outs for that. And can't say that we mind losing, because the person that took the prize was the City of Independence's waterfront redevelopment project. Was the same developer that's developing we're working with to develop this waterfront. So it's bittersweet there. But there was a Oregon City Managers Association meeting and I was nominated and put on the board of directors for that. So it's
Congratulations.
So they roped you in, is what
they
they
roped
did.
me in. That's
Yes.
something I haven't done my entire career, but I feel like at the time it would be reasonable. It's not a huge work commitment out of office. It's usually with out there like a summer conference and a fall workshop. So it's not too much of an ask from the citizens here. So
Yeah.
they work here. October 17th, we're going to have this waterfront redevelopment update, and the purpose of the meeting is just to offer the public a opportunity to see the work we've done. The developer will be here. He'll talk about the work he's doing. It's not an unveiling of the master plan. It's his progress to date of the work he's accomplished. There's not going to be the tear the sheet off kind of thing and look at the plan. That don't want to oversell it. But
Will that be here?
It'll be here at 6 o'clock, and I don't get the indication that it's going to be an overflow type meeting, so quite yet. So.
But I think it's a highly important meeting.
It should be a good meeting. It's a good check-in. We have milestones in our agreement with the developer to check in to move forward. And this is real timely with that, so the timing is excellent. I'm not sure if I mentioned last meeting that we were talking a lot about grants today, that we did receive a notice of award from Business Oregon, not through the Community Development Block Grant, but through their Brownfield program to conduct feasibility work for repurposing all or part of the city's wastewater lagoon. It's $100,000. It's in the same kind of state as in contract review, because the state is apparently real short on contract review staff right now. So, and that's good news. So that's all I got.
All right. Councilor Locke.
Like to announce that ECSP is within 1 working week of getting their all-CC license.
Nice.
Things are finally moving.
You want to turn on your mic, Keith?
And then the other was, Matt, what schedule are we on for our notebooks here, for the council's notebooks?
Right now, they're due to be replaced anytime. So, anytime you guys want to replace those notebooks with new ones.
Our CAT meetings last month or a few days ago. Anyway, we go through a lot of paper there and whatnot, and they can't afford things. So I was thinking that maybe we could probably pass these on to the cat board or something, and if we have any other notebooks or computers that would work for what we do or what they do, but not, that would be appreciated. So, other than that, that's all I got.
Good. Councilor Carlson.
The kids are working on selling. They've made commitments to sell their reflectors as a fundraiser once a month. They've made booked events in October, November, and December. In November, they're going to be teaming up with the rec program and kind of supporting them for the teen nights in November. The other thing is I've had a couple, I didn't know how to go about it because we've kind of been in between code enforcement officers, but I'm seeing out there that I know that on Highway 30 that a lot of shrubs are being trimmed back and like visibilities and drainage and stuff, and I know the city does that, but I didn't know whose responsibility, who does that when you can't see when you pull out. Like if the shrubbery is leaning into the road and you can't see down there, is that a code enforcement thing that would go and tell people they've got to trim their bushes?
Are you talking about private residences?
Yes, in front of people's homes.
Yeah, that would be more code enforcement.
Okay, I just seeing as the days get shorter and traffic gets busier that I was surprised somebody had, their daughter had been in an accident over where you're talking about the road being improved on Columbia Boulevard. There was some driveway or someplace they were pulling out and there was no visibility and she went to pull out, and so just.
Counselor, that'd be a good project for our new CSO coming on board, because that would afford them the opportunity to learn the city and learn the streets, and that would be a good opportunity for them to drive and start getting acclimated to the roadways and checking for those. So I will be on that.
I've been kind of hyper aware because one of the locations that I work when I'm remote is over on Matson Street, and looking at the plats coming in for all of the infill that's going to happen in that neighborhood, increased number of cars, kids out there walking to school, it's dark, and if people can't see, and it's been pretty quiet neighborhood, but when it gets busy, people are going to need to kind of be reminded, you've kind of let this get out of hand. It's not the yard debris, it's just trees overgrown.
Understandable. If it's predictable, it's preventable. So we will we'll be on that and make sure that we take care of those.
And I have a comment to add. If that's the intersection you're talking about down at the end of Columbia Boulevard and Gable, so both of those roads are county roads.
Okay.
And it's my guess is it's the Furlock intersection, because if you're coming from Furlock to turn onto Gable, there's a house on the one side with a completely overgrown it's like ivy and fence, etc. And it is impossible to see down the road without getting out into the roadway. The property's in the county, so it's not something that's within our jurisdiction right now to do anything. But the Gable Road Improvement Project is basically going to take that, because that material is physically in the public right-of-way. So a lot of that, we've already looked at that situation, and a lot of that will be improved. Of course, that's not going to be for another year.
Right.
Until
the story was shared to me, it's kind of
it's
for people to remember
that
that if your shrubs are growing into the road, that's, maybe a reminder.
Yes.
I know we've done public safety reminders.
Correct.
I would think that out of the right-of-way, how far you have to trim that's the rule even for county, isn't it?
I don't know if that same rule applies to the county. I know it's part of the city's municipal code, so I'm not sure what their rules say. But I know that Adam was very good about following up on those things and helping people understand why they needed to keep their hedges trimmed and that kind of foliage back away from the intersection to improve safety.
Like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
It pushes bicyclists and walkers out and strollers out into the road.
Right, yeah,
And then I look forward to more information about Trunk or Treat, because I missed that bus last year. And speaking of buses, I see people driving the shuttles on the weekends, and I didn't know if that's something that the Kiwanis is doing or if that's something people can volunteer to do.
Kiwanis is doing it.
Kiwanis is doing that?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, I want to drive a bus.
If you want to drive a bus, come to the next Kiwanis meeting with me if you care to. It's Thursday lunch at the Elks.
Okay.
That's not on my bucket list.
Driving a bus?
Driving a bus.
Okay. All right. I just thought, I just didn't know. I saw Don Patterson out there driving this last weekend, and You know, any way that I can help, the process and get people around town, I'm always up for that volunteer opportunity.
For you.
That's
So
all I've got.
this is part of CC Ryder doing that, and Kiwanis teamed up, or is it?
It's the city has the bus, and
Oh, okay.
the Kiwanis is making money
Nice.
transporting people around as a fundraiser.
Okay.
Partnership with the
Right.
city.
Hey, Sue, just a quick question on the Gable Road.
Yeah.
I talked to Jerry Johnson.
Oh.
Yeah, and she was telling me that they were proposing to take 30 feet of her side of the road. I didn't-
No, it
that-
should not, absolutely not be
That's what
30
I told
feet.
her. I go, that doesn't sound right, Jerry.
Absolutely not.
I go,
Lengthwise, maybe.
Yeah, lengthwise maybe,
yeah, but
no.
I heard proposed was 10 feet on both sides. Is that probably sound
that
about
would be
right?
the most that would be required. In
Okay.
some places, it's only 5.
Okay,
In some
well, if I
places,
happen
it's
to
nothing.
be passing by there, I'll let her know that
Yeah.
30 is wrong. 'Cause
Where's that?
Yeah, it would absolutely not be 30 feet at the frontage.
Where's that at?
Stub Johnson's old place.
Yeah, on
His widow.
Gable.
Yeah.
And can I have a quick go back to Councillor Carlson and Councillor Locke? If you're involved with the youth council at all, the Columbia County Traffic Safety Commission, which I attend the monthly meetings, are looking for a youth member, somebody that would be interested in traffic safety and traffic education. For
When do they meet?
They meet the first Wednesday of every month at 7 a.m. And currently it is at the Warren Country Inn, but the next meeting may be at the Village Inn. It's up in the air at the moment.
How long does the meeting last?
It's supposedly 1 hour, but they typically last about an hour and a half. But of course, if somebody was there that needed to leave for school or something like
Right.
that,
If
they
anyone
would be
needs help,
absolutely welcome to
if
leave
anyone
early.
needs help with transportation, I'd be glad to help.
Yeah, and I could do that too, because I'm usually here before the meeting and then I leave from here.
We have
So
one young man
could be.
on our council that has limited mobility that might be very interested in this because he does have concern about how people get around that have different modes
Okay.
of transportation.
It focuses on traffic safety for the highway, and then driver's education is something that the group wants to focus on. So they're really looking for a young member that can help them move in that direction. Yeah.
Super.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, I was done.
Okay, Councillor Khan.
Well, the library board conducted interviews last Saturday. There's 3 positions open, and we should have a decision by the next meeting so that they'll be making a recommendation on that. We have an advertisement out for the Arts and Cultural Commission. We're looking for commission members there, too. On October 27th, I attended a meeting with the chamber, and Matt was there, too, and they are looking into the possibility of having local leadership training, which I think is pretty exciting. I've been through 2 leadership trainings. One was RDI and one was Ford Foundation, and it's a great way to learn about how to get things done in the community, a way to learn how to work effectively with partners, solve problems, and I'm really kind of excited about that for our local citizens. Then I was at a disaster preparedness meeting too. It was about Cascadia vulnerabilities, and Sue was present, and they were talking about bridges and emergency routes. It was Columbia County, Lonnie Welter, ODOT, and Dogami were making the presentations. So the planning is happening. We don't always hear about it, but it's the structural. They're looking at how we're going to get around after. So, in case we think nobody's doing any planning, they actually are.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right, thanks. Council President Morton.
Well, hats off to the chief for volunteering and seeing a void where we need some help. And we don't have a code enforcement person at this point. And that was going to be part of my report to say, okay, what do we do? And the chief steps in and says, well, we can do this in the meantime. But I think in terms of an action item, we're going to need to go forward in finding a way with our police department or somehow of getting a code enforcement person in place. Adam left. Well, he didn't leave, but he left that responsibility, and now we have this to deal with. So hopefully we can make do with that. And I really
We have a new hire starting October 16th. This individual's passed our background, passed her medical, and her first day is October 16th for a CSO position.
Boy, that's perfect. And will this set a precedent for new hires, or what can we rely on, in your opinion, for code enforcement if she gets? And I don't know how long this is going to last.
Right.
If it's going to be like a
Yes.
month, 6 months, a year.
Well, we're hoping that she has a long tenure and longevity with us. But I support what everybody's thinking. A code enforcement officer, a community service officer, is up there with the importance of a police officer, because I believe that more people will rely on the code enforcement than police activity. That is a priority for us to make sure that is staffed, and we are already forecasting ahead, to ensure that we're reaching out to people and about working with Kathy about testing and opening up. So we always have a list in place, and we have a quick turnaround time. So we're not going months without positions being filled, because that'll put us back. And what inevitably will happen is we have to use a commissioned police officer to pick up these duties of code enforcement, and we want to try to steer away from that so they can stay on the streets and keep the
Of
community
course.
safe. But yes, Counselor, we have that individual starting October 16th, and we are already starting to look for, in case she doesn't work out, we'll have a backup plan with another code enforcement.
So if you need council help with that or support, make certain that you, in your report, that you ask for that, and we'll
Yes,
put
sir.
it on the agenda and go forward with it, because that's a priority amongst the council, I know, to have code enforcement in place. And I think that any way we can fulfill that would be much appreciative by not only our community, but by the council and staff as well.
Yes, sir. And the good news is that Adam Hartless is going to help train that individual, so they will.
Good.
Right. He also has some ownership in the standards that were set, and as long as his tenure is here, he will always have a part in training those individuals and making sure they understand not only the codes, but how to interact with the community, because that's a big important part.
It takes a while to get familiar with the code.
Yes.
I mean, all the different codes that are out there.
Yes, it takes,
Yeah.
and not only that, but to build the relationships.
Yes.
So that was part of the thought process in hiring a person, in that, and it's just you got to have the round square and a round hole, or else we'll be revisiting this. So, but yeah, we have put some thought into this to ensure that we're putting the best person out there that not only understands the codes but can work with the community. So,
Good. Thank you. And I'm going to yield to Sue and Neil. I'm sorry for not getting ahead of you or telling you ahead of time, but I'd like you to update us on the Veterans Park and what the status is on that, and as much as you know to this point.
At this point, they've poured probably 75% of the main floor, the part that was contracted out. There was a little bit of a change of plans over there with the existing old memorial. They decided to move that out, make that a flower garden, I guess you'd call it. So we've been tearing that out so the contractor can finish his work, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
Well, that's certainly an ongoing progress, and there were certain setbacks along the way, and I'm happy that they've been resolved and you've overcome that. That's
And just for the record, the cannon's missing, but it's over in our parks department.
That's funny.
Another thing, and Casey mentioned cooking classes at the new food bank as it comes to that's plans to do that. And do you have funds? I wonder if there are funds set aside for that, and who's going to do that? Because I've been getting a lot of calls from the veterans going and asking about certain kinds of use of facilities. One was the school district classrooms in the summertime, and the other is for arts and cultural kinds of concerns of allowing the veterans to do some art therapy and some art kinds of projects, and that goes back to arts and culture. And I'll give you the names of these people who have called me and asked me about those kinds of things.
That sounds like Rick.
But it's a need in our community, and I'm glad you mentioned something about a cooking class. There's a lot of veterans out there who would take advantage of that in a minute, I'm sure. And as well as stepping forward to arts and cultural kinds of activities. Art therapy is a wonderful way of treatment, of allowing veterans to deal with some of their issues that they bring home from foreign wars and that kind of involvement.
That sounds like that might fit under the recreation program.
That was one of my thoughts. I on the phone I suggested several areas. They mentioned the school district, which I thought could fit into it, especially in the summertime. But then I thought, well, there's a senior center, and then we've got our new recreational building there that could possibly fulfill those kinds of activities as well. We get an art therapist of some sort teaching those classes. I think that'd be really a benefit to our veterans in our community.
Well, and that's in collaboration with the schools too. So you're hitting two partners that way.
Yeah, very nice. And I attended the League of Oregon Cities conference, and I can tell you at this point I'll be more thorough about that report this evening. But I can tell you that I spent a lot of time with our senators and pushing our $15 million build grant that we have. They are very positive about that grant. They're saying they're making all the calls to Secretary Chow at the Department of Transportation, making certain that application rises to the top because they think it's that good. It's one of their top 3 in the state, and they're very high on our application to push it forward and make it work. So with that, I'll close.
Let me ask you this. Was it your birthday Friday and you didn't let nobody know?
I didn't let nobody know.
Well, happy belated
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. You
But
get
I was
to a certain age and you don't say too much anymore.
But I was also at the League of Oregon Cities, and it was his birthday, and he didn't let nobody know. So happy belated birthday, Doug. It was good to be there at the League of Oregon Cities. My first year going to the OMA, Oregon Mayors Association, this summer, and then being able to come back to the league and reconnect with good people and build that relationship. And a few things that we talked about. The way the league works, like John said, it's a new director there. They show up and do listen to us mayors, and we were talking about affordable housing. And part of the discussion on that is you're kind of upside down even when you go to purchase a property and develop it. By then, you're almost upside down as far as affordable because it costs too much, the price of land, the price of just developing. That's not even with the house on it. So they're going to go back to the House, Senate, and push that for us and see what the Senate can come up with. Also, PERS was talked about. That's going to be a huge battle at the state level. One thing that it's a long session this year, long work session, but they're going to be talking about carbons and emissions, and that is going to deflate the sales because it's such a hot topic. And where do you draw the line? You want to be competitive, but you don't want to have your emissions or carbons at a level that So it's finding that balance. But I was kind of alarmed by that because somehow we need to be able to back them, and I don't know how we go about doing that, as far as whatever they decide to come up with. But it sounds like they could spend a lot of time on this issue. Just the gas from all the other mayors too was like, oh gosh, that's something that's hard even on a long session too, to try to discuss. And then John and I sat in on cities our size, and the big topic was training police, sending them to the academy, and then losing them to other districts or jurisdictions. And we had told them our incentive program and how we hope to see that, we have one person qualified right now. And that hopefully what we found is when people live in our school district, they tend to stay. So we're being proactive and probably saving our citizens a lot of money with that incentive program, because it costs quite a bit of money to send them to the academy. Yes. So, and time invested too. And so, yeah, that was talked about. And like I said, it was just good group of people and a lot to discuss. And yeah, I did meet with Dwight Untie, who is the main guy for Tokala, and talked to him a little bit. And I'm looking forward to him coming out and showing some of his projects that he's already done too as well. And I've been talking to John, the mayor of Independence, and he's really happy with his work. He's already completed a project in Forest Grove, which was Mike Sykes is the one that brought him in on that when he was manager for there. So he has a lot of good resume behind him. So I look forward to our citizens showing up. This is the real deal. The waterfront is going forward. There's a lot of due diligence going on right now, and that'll be explained. It is happening. It is going to be a reality. So October 17th. If you're out there listening and wondering, that's the date.
October 17th at what time?
7 o'clock. 6 o'clock.
There you go. There you go. And
That was close, yeah.
I have a correction on your report.
Okay.
John and you and Doug Morton was sitting.
No, that's
there.
right. Yeah, yes.
How
I'm
could
sorry,
you
Doug.
forget? It
I
was
don't
my
know.
cell phone that went
That's
off.
right. Yep. So, yeah, it was very cool, and did a tour of the Autzen Stadium, and it was about security and big events like what we have going on here. Not this, but I mean, they do 60,000 in Autzen, and then they have all the tailgating people outside too. So it's the biggest event in Oregon. And then they also have the Dalai Lama at the U of O, and they have the Trek Town competitions, which are another big one. And was able to go up in Phil Knight's box. That was pretty cool. Yep, was able to go up there, and he got a. So, yeah, I really enjoyed myself at that League of Oregon City conference. So, with that, that's all I have.
I want to go back.
Okay, go back.
We love to go back. I try to pass on when I get good comments in the community, and I've had probably half a dozen people in the last week say, "Where have all the police been hiding? All of a sudden they're everywhere." So I don't know if that you're doing, but people are, the law enforcement presence in our community is much more present. And a couple of people I work with talked about friends getting DUIs in recent weeks. And I said, that's the law. And they go, no, people need to get busted. It makes us all safer. So people are really pleased. If you have anything to do with the increased presence that we're seeing in the street, or is this just
Of course he does. He's the chief.
But just for Chief Greenway and for your team, just to say that the community does appreciate, they feel safer, and there's a measurable presence that people are noticing.
Thank you, Counselor. I'll pass that on. We are focusing on proactivity, but the right proactivity, and making sure that our community is safe. For example, yesterday we had officers on one of the local school buses, and a unmarked car following behind the school bus because we were receiving complaints of people disobeying the school bus stop signals.
Yeah.
Fortunately, during yesterday's operation, nothing happened. There was no, but so we are out there being very proactive in making sure that our community, specifically our children, are safe. But I'll make sure we pass that kudos on. Thank you.
People are noticing. It's like, did they get new cars or more people? And I said, they're out watching. Maybe it's just a Halloween thing that they're out there making sure people are safe. But definitely, we've noticed their presence more recently.
They have a new motivation. So thank you.
Yeah.
One more go back. I forgot to
Yeah,
mention
go ahead.
that I'm going to be gone. Next week, I'm going to be at the CIT conference in Kennington, Washington.
Kennewick. Yeah.
So,
Yep. Way up north, isn't it? Kennewick?
yeah, apparently it's a 4-hour drive.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
up there ways. Anybody else need to go back? Going once. Casey, you want to go back? All right. We're adjourned. So we're going to wait for this for tonight, or we're going to go in here in a minute? And then,
What are we doing?
executive session because we'll have our attorney here.